kind of art do you make?
Hmm. What kind of art don't I make? I think is the more important question. No, I don't know. I feel like it's always been difficult for me to like really describe exactly what it is. It's mostly like, I don't know. I feel like stream of conscious doodling that kind of starts to take shape towards the end. I don't know. Also like lettering, typography. It's very graffiti inspired. Um, yeah, I guess that's a good segue into like where things began. Let me pull up let me see if I can correctly share this screen. I'm a bit of a Neanderthal with the technology.
You're
All
under
right.
pressure. We're all watching.
All right, don't say that. I'm gonna crumble like a nice feta. All right.
And I just want to let everyone know if you have any questions for Dan along the way, you can just shout out. You can unmute yourself and ask at any time. Or if you don't want to talk out loud, you can also talk in the chat.
Yeah. Holler at me. It's cool. We're all friends here. We could be one day. Um yeah, so this is actually this is a picture my mom sent me yesterday that I feel like is a good place to start. As you can see, I was a bit of a master with the lettering at a young age, and doing the whole hand thing where you draw the fingers on the other side so it looks like it's grasping something. Honestly, I can't remember. I think this was some sort of art assignment in grade school that obviously I probably shouldn't have done a lighter. I feel like it was always controversial with my mom. She was like, "Dan, I don't know why you did the lighter, but okay, it's interesting looking." Um, but yeah, I feel like I always had like an infatuation with the how do I move this? Um, yeah, I just have always really liked drawing letters, which is pretty ironic because half the time I don't know how to speak correctly. Yeah, this is another. Oh, Nick Mass is here. Hey, Nick Mass. Um, but yeah, so this is another one. I guess my mom pulled out of the archives. A nice Manila folder with, as you can see, some pretty top tier cursive up at the top there. Wait, can you see my mouse? Is a mouse? I don't know. Um, but yeah, and then just like a nice big old D, some pretty clean lettering across, and then the classic, the pointy S. All right, how do I get back? Yeah, and then fast forward to like 2017. This was honestly one of the uh probably proudest moments of mine with like I still like vividly remember that feeling of making that and then stepping back and being like, wow, oh man, I'm getting better at this, which is always a very nice feeling when you can see and feel yourself progressing.
It's
This
different
is
off paper and when it's like giant, it's bigger than you and you're
Yeah,
like
it was
immersed in it, it's a specific kind of feeling. It feels good.
yeah, I used this was like the first time like that morning I just like randomly went to Home Depot and got like one of those, long rollers and I went to the graffiti pier for Philly people. You'll know what this place is. And yeah, I just kind of took a crack at it and it turned out incredible. And I was like, man, I should really keep doing things like this. But yeah, to backtrack a little bit, I I wish I had more of the stuff from I guess when I was like early late high school. Um my brother and his friends, well, like mostly his friends were really into graffiti and I just kind of would, you know, they would, draw on stuff around the house like pieces of paper and I really liked it and I would just re what's the word? Like I don't know, like reproduce it, like just try like just take exactly that and then redraw it and then eventually I just got good enough on my own. This is another thing from earlier on. This is another place in the greater Philadelphia area that I don't want to I know the ops are on here so I don't want to expose myself. But yes, This was one of the first. This is probably one of the first things I was like, oh, this is all right. I think I was like 22 at the time. Yeah, it was a bit of a late bloomer. Also, I think I just never really, I don't know, as a kid, I never dreamed of being an artist. It was never a thing. I sort of just, at the end of high school, really started to get into it. I don't know. I think I just had nothing else to do. And I was started to get really anxious at that time. And there wasn't really anything else that relaxed me like drawing. Like this was like when I first moved up to Philadelphia. I started drawing things like this or like this. I would just get my little pad out and start scribbling like a madman. And it really was very what's the word? Oh, relaxing. Uh
Meditative.
Meditative, sure. That's definitely a cooler word than relaxing. Um yeah, actually too, I brought this. I'll stop the thing. I don't know how well this can be seen, but this was like probably the beginning of that kind of style of just sort of lines that run into other lines that run into other lines that eventually take on some sort of shape that might be recognizable, or even if it's not recognizable, there's still at least some sort of balance to it that is, in my opinion, pleasing to look at. Um, but yeah, let me hit this up. Where is it at? Let me share that screen again. Um, yeah, so let me think. Let me backtrack. Hmm. Yeah, so I guess end of high school, no plans for college, which I'm actually very happy because where I'm at in my life right now did not require a college degree. So I nicely avoided some very serious debt, which is always cool.
Lucky.
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones.
Dan, what
Luckily,
do you do now?
oh, I work at this place called Oak Foundry. Yo, shout out Oak Foundry if you're on the chat. But yeah, wait. Okay. Um yeah, so basically they specialize, so they're like a engineering design company. They are like a group of six guys from Drexel who all have engineering degrees who technically, they build prototypes. They can pretty much build whatever you need. Just hit them up. They could probably do it. And
So you're working in the arts.
yeah, so they make split flap signs. They're like those old school arrival departure signs from like airports and like
Oh,
train
okay.
stations with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so I build those signs.
That's cool.
And it's cool because yeah, it does feel at the very least art adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
And
creating, working with your hands.
another really cool thing about this place too is that they have like a laser cutting machine and like all types of tools that I'm allowed to use that can uh that like I can use to help, I don't know, make stuff. Like there was one time where I had this art show and I wanted to make like these little postcards and I went to wood block print them. So I used the laser cutter to cut a design into a piece of wood and then like I rolled, ink onto them and then just hand printed all of them. Which
Sweet.
was
So you can use it for personal use.
yeah, yeah. They are very cool and they allow me to, yes, take over their room of requirement for 30 minutes so I can ramble on to a group of strangers about art in the early 2000s. All right, let's see. Where was I at? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, so I guess I started I feel like actually before I do that, I'll say, yeah, like I was saying, I feel like I never really had a plan to do anything artistically. And I think that probably uh is why to this day I like don't take myself seriously as an artist. But yeah, putting all of this stuff together for this event, I was like, damn, I actually have some pretty neat stuff that I should definitely try to like do something with this. I know I have already done things with it, but yeah, let me share this. So this is just like, yeah, a collection of
So in
things.
addition to your 9 to 5 job, you are also a freelancer, right? I mean, you are kind of like a graphic designer. You design labels for breweries, for beer cans, and I know you've done like some murals in some restaurants.
Yeah. I have totally done those things and it's awesome and I love doing it every time. I just don't know how to like stay in that uh I don't know, that pool of people that people reach out to. And I think that's the thing. I feel like my stuff isn't necessarily commercially appealing. Like I think if I got better at lettering, it would be a different story. But yeah, I think what I do fits in certain places really well. I'm just actively trying to figure out where those places are. And
Yeah,
that's why
I think it's great. It's very clean and very professional.
I feel like that's why especially breweries have been the most receptive to what I'm doing because they usually like can labels especially lately are always totally just off the wall. Here's this was a so ooh, I guess I should probably backtrack a little bit. Where's this place right here, Space Boy Clothing. I can't really talk about an origin story artistically without mentioning these gentlemen here. So I think it was like 4 years ago at this point. Oh no, that's a little. Oh wait, that does come out nicely. So yeah, like 4 years ago. All right, let me gotta backtrack even more. No, I don't need to backtrack. So my friend Muriel, who I went to high school with, had kind of she'd been like, we followed each other on Instagram and she's a very good artist. She's like Claudia, I feel like she's more like, you're like fine artist, can really crank out some nice stuff. I don't know how to say that correctly. What is it? Yeah, it's fine art. It's like you do
Yeah.
portraits and or not portraits, but like
Is she a painter?
yeah, she's a painter. She's a very good
Okay.
artist, very very awesome person either way. But she told me that I she was doing like a show in Rittenhouse, like one of those tent things, and I walked up, talked to her, and she was like, "You need to get in touch with these guys who have a shop in Wilmington, Delaware called Space Boy. Um, they would probably just really like your stuff." And it was kind of a vague statement. I wasn't really sure what that meant, but I was like, "All right." And then I went there one time, and I got a shirt made, and the dudes they did end up saying, "Oh wow, I really like your stuff," and I was like, "Oh cool." And oh man, there's another picture I should have in here, but they they still like we developed a pretty good relationship. The guy Dave actually asked me to do a piece in his print shop, which I totally forgot to put into this slideshow. But that kind of kicked things off, and that's how like the momentum really started with doing murals at all. It was just like essentially so what I showed you earlier with just graffiti pieces. He just asked me to do one of those in his shop, and then like someone else saw that and they were like, "Hey, can you do one in my place?" And then someone saw that and they're like, "Hey, can you do one in my place?" And then about a year later, they were opening up this new location and they asked me to do this whole wall. And I was like, "Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but I will give it a shot." And so this was the opening night of their new location. It was just right across the street, but yeah, it's in on Market Street in Wilmington, Delaware. And so basically I just did in spray paint just large bubble letters that say Space Boy. And then where is it? Yeah, and then like on the sides here is like the finer detail, which actually was a very fortunate the way this came to be. Originally I was going to try to spray paint like all of the detail around the side, and I remember the feeling of defeat when I started doing it, and I was like, this is absolutely not going to work. And I was like, man, I'm about to just paint this entire wall white and never talk to these guys again, just disappear. But then it just so happened, like that moment when I was thinking that dude Dave who was working there was like, "Yo, we got these cool little paint markers. You want to try them out?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that could actually totally work." And then I started doing it. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect. This is exactly what I needed." So yeah, all this detail on the side is just paint marker, and this probably this whole piece. I mean, I was working full time and commuting from Philadelphia to like come back to Wilmington to do it. It was like a month's worth of work.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Um, I think I read somewhere in maybe like an artist bio or something of yours that most of your stuff is like improvised, freehand. Is that what did you do
Yeah.
a sketch first or did it just all?
So I gave them basically what I did is yeah, I drew the letters first. Like I like on a piece of paper, I sent them what the letters would look like, and then I was like, and then I kind of just did some random stuff around the edges, like on the mock-up. And I was just like, yeah, it's obviously not going to be exactly this, but this is going to be like the general feel of it. So yeah, everything around the side is improvised. Like, something like this, this was planned. I did the skull and then, just kind of drew a little outline of a trail and then just, yeah, improvised inside of that. Um, yeah, see, something like this was another piece that I did. This was the mock-up that I sent the guy, and he was like, oh, could you straighten up the letters and just as opposed to being italicized. And then this is how it like turned out. So as you can see, the what's it called? Like the background colors, like the shapes and the lines are not the same at all. But I was pretty much just like, yeah, this will be the general idea. Yeah, and dude liked it and it worked out very well. This was another one. I should have like a straight up shot of this, but I just wanted people to get like an idea of like, the like kind of like that's the marker I use for like all of that. So it does take some time. But yeah, so a situation like this is Green Box Kitchen, also in Wilmington, Delaware. See, this was an example of just kind of momentum. They saw the Space Boy thing, and then um the dude was like, "Hey man, I really want you to do something in my shop," which was awesome. It's always very I have a pretty mean case of imposter syndrome when it comes to art. So anytime anyone asks me for anything or wants to pay me, I'm like, "Are you sure?" As I don't even think I'm a real person half the time. But so basically, yeah,
I
they
know
got
exactly what you mean. I can completely connect with
right.
that.
It's
Yeah, with
it's
commissions, I'm like, really?
it's like you sure? I don't know. You might regret that. But yeah, no. Luckily, everyone's liked everything I've done, or at least they have pretended, which is enough for me. Um, so yeah, this is a Green Box Kitchen, Wilmington, Delaware. They, got this. The dude sent me a picture. He was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be on the wall. This, their mission statement. It's just vinyl lettering." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Why don't I do like a frame around it?" So essentially, I just taped off a frame around the side, and then just, stuff like, you can kind of see this little Keith Haring uh homage, but I'm a big fan of Keith Haring or stuff like there's like a little kind of skyline type thing, like random stuff like that in the moment is planned, and like I penciled that out, and like even up here somewhere is the company's logo. So sometimes in the moment I'll be like, oh, I should just pop this little thing in here, and I'll add it, but like for the most part, yeah, things just one line follows the other. um this was a more recent spray paint thing I did, which I was actually really happy with because I was like, I liked how the lettering turned out. Also, this was kind of like early on in the pandemic, and yeah, I was just like, I need to go out and really reflect on my life at the moment and ask myself a serious question, like, are you good? The answer, I don't know. Yeah, this is a piece. See, this is this is another example of momentum. This was
Hey,
yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
someone has a question. Rick has a question for you. Rick,
What
you
is Rick?
can either unmute yourself or just say it in the chat.
Rick, I want to hear your voice. Say it to me. And what are you doing? Unmute yourself or chat. I don't care. Come on, hurry up. Time is money, baby. Dude, you're about to get kicked out of this. Oh, there it is.
All right.
All right, Rick, what are you doing? Oh, dude,
We
you're still, I
we
can't hear
can't
you.
hear you.
All right, just chat it. Drop a, yeah, drop a message in the DMs. Is this just like some sort of elaborate prank?
There you go.
Yeah, that doesn't
You
seem like a
said
question.
early on you had an interest mostly in lettering.
Uh-huh. Seems more like a statement. Okay.
Are you seeing that, Dan?
Oh yeah, yeah. Is there a hard transition from letters to doodles? Now, if anything, it's like, oh damn, there's totally a good example of or something I chose. So huh. I feel like it all kind of happened at once. Yeah. Was there a hard transition from letters to doodles? Did the letters turn into doodles? Um, I don't know. I feel like they've both kind of been their own separate thing that eventually started uh I don't know, running into each other, if that makes sense. Like I yeah, I feel like I
They
started
kind of
doing them
became
both.
one,
Yeah,
right?
they started kind of happening separately. Like I started doing like when I was younger, like my brother's friends were doing like graffiti and stuff. I would try to get the letters going, and like that was always it's like because doing letters is premeditated, and you actually have to. It's an actual thing that needs to look like a thing, and so it's harder. But like I would do that to I don't know, kind of challenge myself. Also, I like the way it looks, but the doodles is just kind of mindless, just messing around that uh I did realize one day that oh, you can just sort of slap these things together. Like this is something I just did for that place Green Box Kitchen. It's a label for like a kombucha they're gonna put out soon. But yeah, so I guess like I feel like personally I feel like these two things look good together, but are very different. Uh, God, I do not know if I answered your question at all, but yeah, it's it wasn't a hard transition because it wasn't really a transition. It was just two separate things that synthesized eventually and sort of became one.
Makes sense.
Um, oh damn. Oh, thank you for your question, Rick. I appreciate your participation, and thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Rick.
um, yeah. What else? This is another thing that I have been wanting to really sort of flesh out. This idea of like kind of just putting down like a color base and then just doing some sort of face over top. I feel like something like this also could have more commercial appeal, like not just someone's basement in just like the middle of nowhere. Because wait, where did I put that thing in here? Hold on. Um, photos and artwork, like something like this. This is yeah, my friend Sedan, who I don't know, some of you may or may not know, he has like a collective called Spirits Up, and he asked me like he got a new apartment, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come draw on my wall?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Actually, I think I put out like a call on my like Instagram. I was like, "Hey, does anyone have a wall I can draw on?" He was like, "Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You can come here." Um, but yeah, so I feel like stuff like this has a very I don't know what is it niche audience, and I would like to expand more into something that maybe like a big larger scale or I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but yeah, I do
So
something that I feel
I
like not
have
everyone likes, and I want to make something that everyone likes, even though I also don't care about everyone's opinion. So I'm not really entirely sure what I want.
I have
Um,
another question for you, Dan. So
yes,
I
what is
saw
it?
on your Instagram, there was you had a little link in your bio to this
Ah,
project
yes,
that you started in COVID. I forget what you called it,
it's called the
but it was
mural
kind of
tour.
just like, what was that?
Mural tour.
Oh yeah, and I
Um,
thought that it was a really cool idea. So I just wanted to know if you could explain that and let us know if anyone took you up on that or if it's still something that you are planning on doing.
so yeah, obviously, I would plan on doing it, but it requires a certain amount of participation from other people. Like people would be like, "Oh yeah, you can come out and do this thing." Also, it's super difficult to like line up. Yeah, so for anyone who's still listening and doesn't know, I was essentially trying to, I guess, um, sort of like like a comedy tour or like a music tour, just line up a few different dates in different cities and essentially go there and just do something like this, like something like that I can bang out in like 6 hours, like something small. Or like if they wanted something larger, I could spend a couple more days there. But the idea was to, kind of move around, get the experience. Also, I have just like horrible, horrible travel anxiety. So it was kind of a way to pull myself out of my bubble. Um, so yeah, when I originally put out the post for the mural tour, I think that this actually came from that. This was in my friend's apartment, and then the Spirits Up thing as well. So people did take me up on it, but it was all local things. I actually do. My one friend is currently trying to set up something with her cousin in Cape Cod. So I'm hoping that works out because it's like a 5.5 hour drive, which like for me, I might as well be traveling around the world.
Where's the
Um,
farthest you've been?
I went to Pittsburgh once. Actually, well, technically, I went to Florida when I was like 10, but I don't count that. I'm only counting things that you know I did as an adult.
Yeah,
Also, yeah,
I loved your explanation of the mural tour. I mean, it's like it's such a cool project for like different communities, but it's also like
yeah,
an internal like journey for yourself, you know?
yeah.
I think
I
you
I would say I'm pretty self-aware individual. If anything, I'm like overly critical of myself, and I realize that like these things kind of need to happen if I do want to grow as a human being. Um, so I'm definitely trying to. Your doodles are so crisp and fun. Oh, thank you, TB. It was very nice. But yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm really trying to yank myself out of neutral. That's what that whole thing was about. Because I really need an incentive to travel. It's so terrifying to me that like I
yeah,
need there
it's
to
a
be
great
something.
idea. You should get the ball rolling. I mean, I know you
Yeah,
have a full-time job, but
I
if there's
actually.
ever
So my friend is actually getting married in Chicago in August, and I'm going to drive out there. And I was actually talking to my one friend who lives in Pittsburgh, friend, coworker, whatever you want to call him. And he thinks that he'll be able to set something up for me. And then I also have a few friends in Chicago that could probably orchestrate something like that as well.
that's
So
awesome.
hopefully that will
Spread your
work.
art.
I'm trying. But yeah, I mean, originally the first idea I had was dive bar bathrooms because I figured like that would probably be the easiest way to convince someone. Just like, yeah, just like go to like a bar, like, I don't know, like Martha or like any, I don't know, well, Martha's not a dive bar, but just a bar, that's bathrooms covered in graffiti or whatever, and then just paint a wall white and then do something like that on it. I feel like that would be an easy thing too to convince. Also,
Did
like
you ask Martha if you could do that?
I actually did ask Martha, and they said no, but they responded with like it was like actually it was like I think it was February 2020, so it was right before COVID. They actually were like, no, but we do have a featured artist every month, so if you want to hang some stuff on the walls,
Yeah.
that's cool. So that
Yeah.
was
Johnny's super cool and he's super supportive of the arts. That's
yeah.
the shout out to Johnny. He's the owner of Martha.
Shout out
Um,
Johnny, good people.
yeah. Yeah. So you should take him up on that.
Yeah, no, I mean I did do that, and then it was funny because yeah, when I
Okay.
was coming to take it down was like right at the beginning of them shutting down restaurants and
Uh,
stuff, and
cool. You made
yeah,
it in the perfect time.
happy to see that they're still open and doing their
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, damn. I guess it's about time to stop. No, is that like
I mean, you can keep on going as long as you want. Do you have to go back to work?
I do have to go back to work. But yeah, I just want to show this. This is probably my favorite thing that I've ever done. This was my friend's backyard in South Philly. Actually, this was the first one I ever did. My friend Kevin. Oh, you know Kevin McGarren. Wait, you know Kevin McGarren? He used to work at Varga. I don't know if your
Yeah.
times overlap, but yeah, he just actually, yeah, I put out like that whole mural tour thing, or just like a desire to paint or draw on things. And he was like, "Hey man, you want to come paint in my backyard?"
Nice.
That's cool. So he let me come do
Awesome.
this, and I was like very happy with how it turned out because I don't usually do color. But yeah, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
if I just sort of throw things all over the place, a little bit here, a little bit there, I think it'll look all right. And
Do you have like do you have a preference of what you like to make? Like, do you like graffiti more than just like pen and ink or whatever? Or is it
I
just
would
like apples and oranges?
I would say I feel like I have more sense of fulfillment looking at something like this. But as far as like, yeah, just general enjoyment and the easiest pen and paper is definitely my favorite. And then probably followed by, yeah, marker on wall. I don't know, it's just yeah, spray paint is very difficult to get down with, like, you
To
know,
like be precise.
precision with spray paint is very hard,
Yeah.
and it's way harder than, yeah, just a pen. Yeah, those cans can get crazy, but if you do master that skill, they have all types of different caps that you can really do crazy things with it. uh but yeah, cool, I think. But I do have to return to work in the next couple minutes. But
Okay. Does anyone have any more questions for Dan?
anybody.
Well, that was an awesome talk. I really like to see your
Oh,
work.
Claudia, thank you
And
so much for inviting me. I feel like this is
yeah.
exactly what I needed.
Yes, it's a pleasure. I want to encourage you I want you to do that mural tour, man. I want you to spread your art and to get over your fear of traveling because
I'm so scared.
traveling can influence your art. You know what I mean?
So I
So
hear, so I hear. I know I got to do it. Oh my
yeah,
God.
but yeah, keep on making.
Cool.
You're doing
Thank
a
you.
great job. You're so talented.
Thank
And
you. So are
Janine
you.
says, thank you for sharing your work. TP
Absolutely.
says, thanks for your time. Great work. So
Absolutely. Thank
thank
you
you
both.
so much, Dan. And
Thank you
everyone
so.
join us for the next artist talk. It's going to be a month and it's going to be featuring me.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I want to shout out Rick, Sean Murray, Nick Mass, Kelsey McElduff, my mom. Who else is out here? I don't know. I can't really see. I don't know how to look around. But yeah, whoever came here to see me, thank you for being here. That was
Thank you
awesome.
everyone for coming. And thank you so much, Dan. That